us, actually. Great. So we're going to have Rudy and my wife. We do a live stream every Thursday, and we talk about these tools. It's absolutely free. If you want to jump on, it's every Thursday, 11 o'clock Central. You can go to Miick Systems, and that's where you can actually find the link. And we basically just talk about these tools. We did one yesterday, but obviously it didn't work, right? So I asked these two if they would be able to come back today, and they said yes. So they don't have a ton of time because Rudy's a busy dude, so is my wife. But I believe, guys, I'm kind of talking with my back to you, but I believe that you guys actually have some things that you want to discuss. And then here's what we would really like. You have the man here today. You have my wife here today. Both are really, really intelligent. If you have questions for them, we'd love to get your interaction. We'd love to get your questions. You have him here in front of you, so. Did I? That wasn't intentional. My man and my wife. That's why she's the smart one of the team. So what do you guys have for us today? Good to see you both.
It's great to be seen.
Jen, you're muted. And just so you guys
Can you hear me
know,
now?
just so you all know, there's like a 10-second delay, so this is going to be,
Okay.
we're going to do the best we can with this.
Hi there.
Hey, everybody at CozTalks. It's good to be with you today. Are you able to hear me? I
Can you
think I heard a yes.
Can you hear them?
I can hear you,
Yes.
Jeff.
Good. All right. They said yes.
Excellent.
All right, cool.
Good.
Well, thanks for making the time, and thank you, Mr. Reed and the team, for getting the tech together for us to come back today. Our live stream episode is available, so if you want to see the entire episode from yesterday, it's on our YouTube channel, also on our Facebook page. And we're sorry that we couldn't be with you yesterday, but here we are back today. So, Rudy, yesterday we talked about our two big topics. And as Jeff said, what I'd really like to hear actually is what you all want to hear us talk about. So I'm not really interested in what we have to spew and go over if it's not something that's really, really pertinent for each one of you. So our best episodes are always, no drama, always when we get viewer questions, viewer comments, and viewer insights.
Right.
So whatever you're sitting with, whatever's percolating for you, please, hopefully you can give it to Jeff, and we'll roll with it. But yesterday our topics were fiscal systems and hiring and interviewing. So Rudy, would you like to jump in here? I know yesterday you teed it up with some of the fiscal pieces that were key of what the martial arts industry, what we can learn from other industries that you work with.
Sure. Hi, everybody. It's great to see you. What I'm sitting with, Jen, is two things. One is I wonder if we don't build on what Jeff was just presenting, right? Jeff, you went really fast, great headlines. I wonder if there's questions about the fiscal processes or the hiring systems or the feedback stuff we could actually build on or go deeper. If anybody in the audience has questions about what you were talking about, we could do that. Or we could stay specifically focused on hiring and fiscal. Right?
Absolutely. I mean, Jeff did such a great job with the presentation. I feel like the band that had to go in on after Queen at Live Aid. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know what I have to offer at this point.
She's awesome, isn't she?
The other piece that I wanted to really highlight as a preface to anything is the couple that was speaking yesterday about passion and purpose over systems, right? It was such a lovely point that was offered. And with everything that Jeff is talking about, everything that we're offering, I want to absolutely talk about and support both and, not either or, but both and. Where is passion? Where is purpose? And let the systems we put in place for feedback, for fiscal, for training, for hiring, be there to support my passion, support my purpose, support my brand. So this isn't an either or, it's absolutely an integrated piece of performance. The outcome is radical success. So I'll stop there.
Jeff, do we have any questions or anybody want to piggyback off of anything that you just talked about in your presentation? Rudy's right. You had fantastic material. What do we got?
Well, that is a good point. I mean, I did go through a lot of that stuff really fast. So if you guys have questions specifically about any of those points or just for Rudy, let us know. We have one over here. Yes.
I would like to go over the exact hiring process.
Okay, cool. So
You are asking the right questions.
You are
in
asking.
this
That is
day
a
and
great
age.
question.
Give that man a star.
Okay,
That person a
there we go.
star.
well, here would be the headlines. First and foremost, we're always hiring. Most companies, so everything is an interview. Everything. So to Jeff's point, if I see one of my instructors performing in a way that is not my brand, provide feedback. Hey, to take your performance further, do X. If I see performance that is my brand, celebrate it. And that practice of feedback actually will support hiring and interviewing because my eyes are open to what is my brand and what is the process that I'm looking for. Here's my promise. If I wait for somebody to quit or wait for somebody to give their notice, I'm going to end up having to hire a pulse and it will suck. The odds of finding the right person, really trouble. So be looking for the right person all the time. That's first. Jen, I wonder jump in.
Yeah, and I'm not sure, specifically if this is going to address your question that you asked, but from a pragmatic standpoint, everything that Rudy said is true. I agree with that's the system and the process that we use in our company. Right now, we're getting basically every single one of our resumes applications through Indeed. So I'm on Indeed multiple times a day for 3 positions that we're currently hiring for. And I'm adjusting, just sort of reading the numbers and what our visibility is and things like that, adjusting budget, adjusting some other factors. Then I am screening them with inviting for phone calls. So we do phone interviews first. Right now, I'm actually training our after school and camp director to be able to do phone interviews. So if he's able to be there in person, we do a conference call together. Otherwise, I just, I 3-way him in with the caller. And I sit basically first chair and he sits second chair on the phone interviews. Whoever makes it through that screen, we have set questions. We ask the same questions of every single candidate. Whoever makes it through that screening process gets in for an in-person interview, same concept. I have somebody on my hip. Ideally, I have 2 people, minimum 1 person on my hip who's learning to do the interview process. We are having a stand-up conversation before the interview. So here's what's going to happen. Here's what I want you to look for. Be awake to this, this, this. We do the interview afterwards. Great. What did you notice? What did you see? So we're doing the interview process while I'm training, and it also brings my team in on saying yes or no to a candidate. And then I'm happy to talk about, there's more details too. I'm happy to talk about it offline. I don't want to waste everybody's time, but that's pretty much the process that we're using for hiring right now.
Right.
I love it. Hey, Rudy, if you could, so I love, thanks for that overview. Rudy, can you maybe give us some specifics on like the questions, like some of the pragmatic nuts and bolts during that interview process?
Sure. Well, let's go back to the outline first because there's what we call 5 core truths. You want to write this down. The first is only hire A+. So that means, to Jeff's point earlier, I need to define what A+ looks like for my front desk person, for my instructors, for my after-school instructors, whatever it might be. What is A+ in this performance so that I can look for it as opposed to, again, hiring a pulse? Second, a maybe is a no. Gigantic. A maybe is a no because every one of us, as we look around the room, who has not 6 months later when you knew, no, this person will work out, it'll be okay. 6 months later, you go, oh my God, I wish we hadn't had done this, right? Much harder to get rid of somebody that's wrong than hire right in the first place. So a maybe is a no. Number 3, trust the balance beam means if I really love this candidate, Ask the question very quickly. Why? How come? Do I just like the way they look? Do I like their resume? What is it that hooks me to say I love them? The same, and figure out the data. If it's just the color of their eyes or the way their hair looks, watch out. Back up. What is it about them that you're appreciating that fits your brand, and go to that data? Same thing if somebody you dislike, especially quickly. This person doesn't fit. How come? The way their inability to make eye contact, their inability to smile, their lack of enthusiasm for even the job interview in the first place. Whatever that is, confirm the yes or confirm the no, and then make your decision. But watch out for that balance beam of an immediate yes or an immediate no. Fourth is, do not answer questions before all of your questions are answered. Most of us give away all the right answers. So I'm going to be really choiceful. And Jen, I love what you do, right? You up front say, hey, you're going to have time to ask me questions at the end of the interview. So know that you've got time as the applicant, whether we're on Zoom or live stream, whatever it might be, or we're in person. You'll have time to ask questions. First, please know I've got a list of questions that I'm going to be asking you. And my choice will be not to answer any questions you're asking me until I'm complete. Okay? Just that straightforward. Another tool I can do is to turn the question. Hey, you've been an instructor, you've been a front desk person with a school this size. What would you expect of this position? How many shifts a week do you need me to work? How many shifts would you expect to work? That would be turning a question. It's another way to do this. And last but not least is ask the real question. The real question. So Jeff, that gets us to what you were asking for just a moment ago. So one of my favorite cliched questions is, well, where do you see yourself in 5 years? That's really a throwaway question in my experience. The real question that will take me deeper with this applicant, or the applicant deeper for us, is why that choice? That's a real question. Asking somebody about their passion, what inspires them, will get you to a real question. Say more. Go deeper. Especially if their passion is a location like Cozumel, or a bar like Coconuts, or playing guitar, whatever it might be that you align with. Instead of saying, oh my God, I love Coconuts too, just go, why that? And listen to that applicant's expertise about the real experience. And you will find out so much information, or whether they're blowing smoke. So those are some short guidelines. Jeff, I wonder what else?
No, I think that was fantastic. I think asking the real question is the important part. I mean, so many times we ask these, to Rudy's point, these throwaway questions. Where are you going to see yourself in 5 years? I think getting to the, let me step that back. I think the important piece for us is we're always asking questions that, again, are weeding out drama. They're weeding out whether or not this person is in alignment with our purpose, if they're in alignment with our values. Again, Rudy taught us a long time ago, aptitude is the last thing that we hire for. The first thing that we're actually hiring for are those other pieces, the culture pieces. Will they fit in with our culture? So I think, Rudy, I think those questions that you're talking about, Jen, that process that you're talking about is really about finding the fit for the culture. Nothing else. That's it. Everything else can be taught.
Yeah. Another headline for everybody in the audience is to ask questions about, okay, well, where in your career have you been challenged? Where in your life have you been challenged? Where did something feel unfair or out of balance? And to listen, if if I'm the applicant and you hear me making excuses or blaming somebody other than myself, pay attention to that because you will be the next excuse. So I want to listen for what Jeff is calling drama. I want to listen for victimhood. I was just a pawn in the game. It was really the manager's fault, or the owner really didn't share with me the right stuff. If that kind of response shows up 2, 3, 4 times, watch out because I promise you, 6 months from now, that's exactly what's going to happen with this person in your business. So I want ownership attitude from day one.
Yeah, thank you for that, Rudy. Last thing I'll add on this, then we do have another question.
Oh, cool.
They will never be better than they are on their interview day, right? Their interview day is a 12. They're 12 out of 10. So if they're not nailing you, you're not happy with them on their interview day, don't think, oh, yeah, they were just having a bad day,
Yeah,
right? So.
for sure.
Thank you. Thank you so much for what you share, Jeff. And also, I love what you are all about. Honestly, we've been open for 5 years, and I wish I would have found these systems before because this is so up my alley, specifically in the aspect of drama, which is what I call gossip, right? For me,
Yeah.
it's like this is a zero. There is no room for it. Because we have so many lives to change and so much to do. But I love systems, and I love being able to hear this align with what we stand for, what we believe. So thank you so much for sharing that. Now, I have a question that's very particular to hiring. I've actually developed the hiring system in my school. Hence why I say I wish I would have found you guys before. So I didn't do this by trial and error. But the particular challenge I found for those of us who have summer camp is that we are hiring seasonally. And it becomes very challenging for me to identify the A pluses that I can actually train in a time span of 10 weeks, right? So like 10 weeks is not even enough time to train them, and they have to perform at a A+ level. So do you have any suggestions in the hiring for seasonal, and also speeding up that process of training so that they can perform at peak in 10 weeks?
That's a great question. Jen, I'd love to hear your voice. I can certainly throw in, but.
By the way, Rudy, that was Naomi. She was one of the ones that was given that presentation you were talking about. At the
Oh,
beginning of the
fabulous.
passions.
Thank you. Thanks, Naomi.
Yeah, it's a great question. It's a great point. My camp director and I just had this conversation the other day when we were doing some phone interviews for our summer camp team. So, for me personally, I tell my team hiring for seasonal and hiring for, say, a front office or an instructor position, it's like we're going to date somebody for 3 months versus marrying them, right? So, let's be really, really honest. This is probably somebody who's going to come into our company, yes, have impact, yes, need to be on purpose, values, all of those things that Jeff talked about. And realistically, they're going to be with us for about 3 months. And we have this very condensed period of time to bring them to brand standard, to your point. So for me, I look at who is my A plusest of A plus summer camp team members. They might be a lead, usually like a lead counselor. Sometimes it's a second. I think about that person and I really analyze the behaviors that they had, the specific behaviors that they had, and I hold them up in my mind as the standard that I want to aim for. Now, if I know that they're a 10, honestly, for a summer camp counselor, especially in this hiring market today, first of all, I won't bring anybody in who is below an 8, period, full stop. It's not worth it. We're not that desperate. I don't just want a pulse. But they better be, in comparison to Ms. Smith or Mr. Martinez or whoever I'm thinking of as my A+++ for summer camp for that position, they better be an 8 or a 9 if that person is a 10. In a nutshell, that's what I do. And what we just shared about the behaviors, showing up late, they're done. I'm calling them for a phone interview and they don't pick up. And I tell them exactly when I'm going to be calling and what my call-in number looks like. So there's no excuses. They're pretty much done. So those types of pieces are not up for debate or discussion. I don't care if they're going to be with us for a week or 20 years. They're not coming in for an interview. But I do scale it. if that makes sense. And again, you know, if there's more nuts and bolts details, I'm happy to talk with you offline, but that's pretty much how we do summer camp hiring versus permanent, going to be with our company for 10 years hiring.
Jen, say two more sentences about scaling.
So if I'm going to hire, say, a community builder, we call our front office people community builders. That's our front office team. If I'm going to be hiring a community builder who's going to be that ambassador of our brand, making connections with our families, hoping to have them on year round, night after night for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, my standards are probably going to be higher than they are in some ways than for a seasonal position. So if a community builder is going to show up, I want my community builder to show up for the interview probably about 10 minutes early, period, full stop. That's what I want them to do. If their interview's at 7, I want them walking in the door about 6:50. Now, a summer camp counselor, if their interview's at 7, I will accept them walking in the door at 6 minutes till or 4 minutes till. That's one example of scaling. My expectations are here, but I'll scale it for summer camp because it is a temporary position.
Okay, interesting. So do you let those applicants know that?
The applicants themselves?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so your scaling is internal. It's an
Yep, and I'm
internal
training my
guy.
team. Yeah, and
Okay.
that my team and I know that.
Okay, great. To the group, Naomi, but also the whole audience, notice actually what I was just doing with Jen is actually interviewing. Is Jen said a couple things that caught my attention. Do I just let the verbiage go by, or do I actually acknowledge I don't really understand what she means by scaling? So I'm going to go deeper.
Yeah, and I like about that question that you just asked Rudy. I did this on a phone interview. Actually, it was last night with somebody who was interviewing. And sometimes if I smell something that might be like, you just used a really big fancy word. Do you actually know what you're talking about? Is there actual substance behind it, or a jargon type thing? And I asked this person, like, well, what do you mean by that? And that this person wasn't really able to. Was like, just sounded really, really good, right? And so that is the behavior underneath the behavior that I actually want to get to in the interviewing process.
Yeah. So Naomi, and to the group, I would add two things to what Jen said. Yes to behavior. One of the things that I love about the martial arts community and everything that everyone down there is talking about at CozTalks is you live in martial arts in the world of behavior. You don't just say, hey, kick better. You tell me how to kick and how to be effective, how to move my joints, how to move my body to support a quote good kick. So we've got as a group this skill. If we take what we know about behavior, physiology, anatomy, and movement and apply that to what is a plus, for instance, for after school, I need you to have a good attitude. Well, wait, what are the behaviors of good attitude? Maybe it means that when I walk in the door, I make immediate eye contact. I have whatever authentic means, an authentic smile. I reach my hand out to shake, I ask, even better, I ask a behavior question of what can I do to support the team? If those are behaviors I'm looking for, I look for them in the interview. And I'm going to translate attitude, compliments into behaviors, and I want to look for those behaviors in the interview. More so, I can create an exercise. This is really, really good for, I do a lot of seasonal hiring and terminations as well, working in the resort business and the restaurant business all over the world. So this process in very short order of what are the behaviors I'm looking for and turn the interview into an actual experiential exercise. Greet me as if, or greet my partner as if they're a new kid to the program. Go. Answer the phone. Ring, ring, ring. How would you answer it with no coaching whatsoever? Then perhaps I may give you, here are 3 things I want to hear: the name of the school, the day part, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and an action step. Try that. Do it again. And see if in real time that person that is applying, that applicant, can actually shift their behavior in real time with that feedback. That's going to be modeling to that says this person I can train, this person over here, no ability awareness, no ability to train at all. Boom, the interview's over. I'll stop there. I could go on.
Right, we just have just a minute or so left. I think
Okay.
for me, one thing I would add, so I love the concept of if you're going to hire an instructor, what if you actually said to them, great, here's a weapon, teach me something.
Bingo.
Or you have pretend like you have 7 kids in front of you. I want you to come up with a game right now and a drill. Go. And in the moment, so we'll find out a couple things there. One, we'll find out, do they actually have the skills? But 2, we'll find out how do they react with being given things in the moment under pressure, right?
Yes.
And one of my favorite things to ask applicants is, so are you open to some feedback? And then give them some real feedback in the moment.
Yeah.
Don't crush their souls. No. But you'll find out in the moment because they'll say, yeah, I take feedback great. And then when they're given actual feedback, you get to watch it and you get to actually see. So anything else? I think, so are we good with time or, yep, all done. All right, well, Rudy, Jen, thank you guys for being here. Thanks for putting
Thanks,
up with
everybody.
everything yesterday. We loved having you guys. Again, every Thursday, 11 Central.
Rudy, thank you so
Great.
much.
Mr. Reed, thank you so much, man.
I'm looking
Thanks
at
for
the
helping
screen. I
us.
was trying to figure out who the old guy, bald guy was coming. It's me. But thank you so much, Jen. Thank you so much, and to share with the martial arts community like you've been such a giver for the last years. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Over and out. Next year you'll be down here, sir
Absolutely.
and ma'am.